What is up everyone, welcome back to another BeamNG.Drive video. So in this video I'm gonna go over the 10 maps that I like the most for just simply driving around. They are all in no particular order and I'm gonna tell you for each one of them why I like it and what it features. Also I've tried out the traffic capability, like the new traffic that's implemented within the game, not the mod. So we see how each one of them fares in that prospect, and also for each I've done a 5-minute benchmark, so exactly 300 seconds, just driving around, getting as far as possible, not looping the same roads. And so you're going to be able to see how each of the maps fares on my own PC. When it comes to my PC, this is the configuration. Hope that's more info than you need actually. And without much further ado, let's go into it. The first map on this list is gonna be Altitude, so it's a fairly large map, 496 by 496 meters. It features just amazing landscape. When it comes to roads, they're mostly for high-speed driving, but they're not like a flat out just keep the throttle on and drive like that roads, like an open huge Texas area or something like that. There are mountain roads, and there's also a lot of curvy sections, a lot of creative like mountain passes and stuff like that. It's very good for hill climbing. You also have off-road sections that are also very nice. Like even some tarmac roads turn into off-road sections, which is for some it's really nice. For some people don't like it, but I find it fairly interesting. There's a lot of places of interest on it. You have sawmill, you have dam, you have a lot of like jumping posts to go around. You even have a wormhole in the map. Like, what else do you want? There's also a lot of weird stuff for stunts, and also a tunnel that's pretty much a stunt tunnel. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You can see it in the background. So overall, it's really exciting and amazing map, and you should definitely try it. When it comes to the performance benchmark, it averaged on 117.4 FPS on my PC. So you can see the comparison with some official maps, and when it comes to traffic, it's really not that good for traffic. There's a lot of crashing, a lot of cars like get stuck on a wall, they crash in tunnels, they crash in the same lanes. They can seem to go and drive around off-road sections very successfully, I guess. So for traffic, it's really not the best, but without traffic, it's definitely an amazing map, and you should definitely try it. The next map on this list is Tennessee Roane County. It is absolutely huge map. It's over 21 kilometers by 21 kilometers. So bear in mind that you're definitely gonna need at least 8 gigs of RAM to run this. It runs amazingly with 16 gigs of RAM, which is the recommended for it. So map this big features lots of things, and when it comes to landscape, it's mostly flat with some hills here and there, but it has all kinds of roads you can imagine. There's lots of streets and highways though, since it's like actual real life territory ported in the game. It has some curvy roads too, and even off-road sections. So there's multiple towns in this map, and lakes and I guess rivers around. They're all connected with these highways, so you can make trips from one to another, which is very fun. There's also some jumping ramps throughout the map that the author placed in there to make the map a bit more interesting. So definitely an amazing thing to look at. When it comes to the benchmark, I'll just note again that I have 16 gigs of RAM, so that's not a bottleneck here. So basically this falls on the graphics card and CPU. If you have like small amounts of RAM, you're gonna lag on this map. So the average for me was 94.9 FPS, which is really nice for a map this size. When it comes to traffic, traffic was pretty much perfect, as good as any like map, official map in game would be. So definitely an amazing thing to see there. You're gonna have lots of fun with traffic. One more thing that I'm gonna note though is that when you play with the interior camera on this map, like the camera kind of shakes, and I don't know why this has been like this with this map for multiple patches, even through reinstalls with my game. When you play from the outside though, you don't notice it very much, so keep that in mind if you're someone who likes to play with the headcam. Next up is the ultimate do-it-all map, so it's American Road. This map is Also ginormous, so it's 11 kilometers by 11 kilometers, and it's simply amazing. Like, the landscape is so amazing, and the map has really everything you can ever wish for. It has all kinds of roads, it has lots of curvy roads, which I really like. It has some highways, lots of straights. Uh, the map also features some of the best off-road sections you'll probably see in this game. They can also be fairly long. If you like off-road, this map definitely may be for you. It has multiple racetracks, and when it comes to places of interest, there are multiple towns, some lone houses here and there, airport, and pretty much everything you'll ever need in a map. Benchmark time, and for this map I'll also know that you really need a lot of RAM, maybe even more than the Tennessee map. So another note I think I haven't mentioned is that my settings are pretty much maxed out, except the dynamic lighting, which is completely turned off, and also the driving distance is about half. Everything else is pretty much maxed out. So the average frame rate was 99.7 FPS on this. When it comes to the traffic, like, it's pretty good on big open roads that are wide. On smaller roads that are not so wide, cars, they hit a tree or rock that's beside the road, because there's no two lanes on that road in reality, and cars use two lanes, the AI cars, so that pretty much messes it up. But if you ignore that, it's pretty nice. So this next map is not huge, it's 2048 meters by 2048 meters. It's Cliff Roads. That's basically the cliff map from the official maps that's modified by the author. And there's a lot of roads on it right now. They're mostly bumpy hill roads, but are very, very fun to drive on. And you also have a lot of amazing off-road courses for climbing up the mountain throughout the map. They're really fun and definitely huge recommendation for this map. When it comes to places of interest, there's a town, a port, some gas stations, and even some houses on top of the hill. There's lots of opportunity to drive your car off cliffs and just for amazing crashing, and definitely a very fun map. Make sure to try it out. When it comes to performance, this map should run much better than any of the previous ones on Potato PCs. I got an average FPS of 122.2, which is definitely amazing. And when it comes to traffic, it's very good but not perfect. You'll see a bit of, like, cars will scratch walls or something like that, and also they tend to drive a bit off-road somewhere. It's not perfect, but it's definitely not bad. Definitely great when it comes to traffic, but not perfect. The next map on this list is Beam Mountains. It is also 2048 by 2048 and features amazing landscape even with ground cover variation, meaning that on some higher altitude parts you'll find snow on the ground. The roads are mostly twisty hill roads with some straights, but there's definitely a lot of fun to be had on them. And also you'll find a bit of off-roading through the woods on a trail. It's not that demanding, but definitely a fun drive to be had. When it comes to places of interest, you'll find a town, some lone buildings and a gas station. Though there's no like crushing ramps or something similar on the map, it's focused purely on realism, so it's definitely amazing when it comes to just simply driving around, which is pretty much the point of this list. When it comes to the benchmark, it performed amazingly with an average FPS of 138.5, and when it comes to the traffic, it's pretty much the same story like American Road. When you're driving on wide roads, everything's perfect, but when you get to the tighter roads, some of the AI cars tend to drive off-road or get stuck or hit things, but it's pretty good. Definitely not perfect, but has issues here and there. Okay, time for another ginormous map. Next up is Frozen Lake. So this is a bit over 10 kilometers by 10 kilometers. And when it comes to landscape, it's amazing winter landscape. As you can see, the snow keeps falling on the map, which just gives you that nice winter feel. There's a lot of like mainly straight roads with some twists here and there. When it comes to the snow around the roads, it's pretty slippery, so amazing for testing your car's traction control and stuff like that. And naturally, you can even drive on a frozen lake, which is very slippery and just very, very fun. Definitely try it. When it comes to the places of interest, there are two towns, lots of buildings everywhere on the map pretty much. Like wherever you go, you'll find something interesting. There's even gas stations and some Easter eggs, so there's a lot to explore and lots to find in here. There are no like crushing ramps though, it's purely for realism, which is just amazing if you just want to drive around and enjoy the map. Despite the huge size, this map performed very well on the benchmark. I got an average FPS of 138.1. Keep in mind that it is huge, so you're gonna need lots of RAM. And when it comes to traffic, it's really not good. I mean, the roads, they're not detailed enough, so cars tend to go off-road and there's a lot of trees. They get stuck in the trees pretty much all the time. Some bridges are not marked, and like cars won't go and try to have fun on the lake with you, which is definitely a shame. Traffic is definitely not the best side for this map. I mean, it's a fairly new feature. I hope the developer is gonna update this, because I really love this map and I really highly recommend it. Next map on this list is Canyon of Speed. The size is 4096 by 4096 meters, and look at this. Like, the landscape is breathtaking. It features a lot of fun bumpy, twisty mountain roads with some straights here and there, and also a definitely amazing and challenging off-road section. You have to try this if you like off-roading. Definitely you won't regret it. Unfortunately, there are no like buildings on the map, but you have like a dirt landing strip where they could add like airport or something. I definitely would like to see some buildings added to this if the creator still works on it, but even without it, it's amazing. You do have some extra special bridges though with custom features. I'm not gonna say what they are, you have to try it, just try the map, it's amazing. Lots of like jumping ramps and opportunities for cliff diving. It's definitely an amazing map, huge recommendation. When it comes to benchmarks, eye candy pretty much always hinders the performance, and that's the case for this map also. My average FPS was 93.4, which is not a lot compared to some other maps, but bear in mind that it's not a huge map, so you don't need a huge amounts of RAM to run it fine. When it comes to the traffic, again, like the traffic routes are not detailed enough, and the bridges with custom features, well, they're not marked, so some cars won't go over the bridges. It's clunky when it comes to traffic, definitely needs working on there. I hope they're gonna fix that in the future also. Next up we have Seaside Roads. So this map is big but not huge. It's 6144 by 6144, and you have seaside landscape with some hills over it. Now there's a lot of like fun bumpy twisty seaside roads with some straights, and also you have bridges which are very good for pools. There's also an off-road section on the map. When it comes to the places of interest, there's a town, of course the islands, and scattered buildings pretty much everywhere around the map. There are some jumping ramps, and you can also dive off the cliffs of the hills. Now there are a few issues with the map, like there's a texture problem that I get only with like textures that are further away. Cleaning the cache and fresh installing the mod did not solve it. And also like some roads, there you have appearance of roads, but they're not actually roads. Like you're driving on sand or in water, and that's kinda, I don't know. I hope they're gonna fix it. I don't think it's intentional, but that definitely can be a pretty easy fix. When it comes to the benchmarks, this map definitely did amazingly. So the average FPS was 141.4, and when it comes to the traffic, it's the same issues as pretty much most other maps. So the traffic routes are not detailed enough, and there's enough roadside objects like palm trees or stones simply for the AI cars to get stuck on. And yeah, there are definitely issues with the traffic, but without traffic, this map is just so amazingly fun to drive on. Despite the smaller issues that it has, it's definitely a huge recommendation. There's a lot of stuff to find in it, and definitely try it, you're not gonna regret it. The next map on this list is also big but not gigantic. It's Nevada Interstate, so it's the same size as the previous one. And when it comes to the landscape, it's pretty much desert. There's not a lot of vegetation around, and that's great if you have a potato PC. So when it comes to roads, you'll find lots of highways and other like mostly straight roads. There are some scattered buildings around and a big dam that you can drive on if you want. When it comes to the crashing and jumping, there are some jumping ramps around, but I mean you could also climb on top of some hills, but it's not that good for cliff diving. When it comes to the benchmark, I already mentioned that due to the fact that this is a desert, the vegetation is lacking, and that definitely helps when it comes to the performance. So it's no wonder that this map actually did the best out of all that I've tested, all the custom maps. So the average FPS was 149.6. So that's almost as good as FPS as I was getting on Utah, the official map, and definitely amazing. I mean, it is kind of big map, so you're gonna need some RAM for it, but not 16 gig, and you can definitely run this on potato PCs. Now, when it comes to the traffic, it's fairly good. I mean, some of the cars sometimes do go off-road here and there, but it's really minor issues compared to the most other maps. So definitely very good performance and very good for traffic also. The next and final map on this list is Tail of the Dragon, also known as the Deal's Gap. So, as you probably know, this is an actual real-world location. So, it's located in North Carolina, and this is actually one of the Americans' like top motorcycle and sports car roads. It's definitely amazing in real life, and it's as amazing in the game also. When it comes to the landscape, it's a big forest with a huge long road in it, long twisty road, and you also have a small like dirt road section. When it comes to the places of interest, there's just a gas station and a dam, not a lot going on, but this is definitely a proper driving map, and if you just want to drive around, you're definitely gonna enjoy it, and that's what the point of this list is. So this would actually be my own number one pick. If I had like any one map, just one map for driving around, I would probably pick this one. Definitely try it if you haven't yet, you're gonna definitely enjoy it. Also, the amount of trees you can find on this map, I don't think I've seen like this amount of trees in one map ever in BeamNG.Drive. So yeah, lots to see here. When it comes to performance, big map size and a huge amount of vegetation, they don't really give good results, but if you take those two into consideration, the results are not even bad. Like the average was 104.5 FPS on this map, and that's definitely amazing for what it is. Now when it comes to traffic, there's a small misalignment in the like traffic routes. They're sometimes not detailed enough, but it doesn't cause any problems, actual problems. Like the cars sometimes may drive a bit off-road, but surprisingly they don't hit a tree. I mean, and there's like a gazillion of trees out there and they don't hit one. So yeah, it works pretty well with traffic. So definitely one amazing map and one huge recommendation. So to wrap up this video, I'll put all the benchmark results on this one big graph so you can compare everything on one place. And if you made it all the way to the end, I really want to thank you for watching this. So make sure to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't yet. I think you probably noticed that all this video was pretty much everything on top of my head to get just the most honest and realistic opinion on the maps. And I really hope this was useful to you. So feel free to let me know which map is actually your favorite, and maybe you tried some map that I didn't and I'm missing out. So if I'm missing out, just let me know in the comments below. And once again, thank you for watching, so enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you pretty soon. Bye bye.